Good morning, everyone in the St. Lawrence community, all our parishioners, all the way to all our students. And my name is Brother Ken, and I'm one of the campus ministers here. And really strange times that we're in right now. I am literally sitting on a Sunday morning in a church that normally would be packed with people, and it's actually empty. And so it's so unusual. The first time in my life I've ever experienced something like this. And what we want to do is try to offer some perspectives and some inspiration. While we can't all be together, God can still be with us in our individual lives. Today's gospel reading, John 7, the thing that strikes me is the soldiers. Soldiers are sent to actually arrest Jesus because as he describes his mission, the local religious leaders are not happy with him. And interesting, the soldiers, when they interact with him, he is so different, so impactful, so inspiring, that they actually can't get themselves to arrest him. I want to make a reference back to, we've been through difficult times before as a country and as a church, actually many, many times. I'm from New York City, and this crisis has made me think about the 9/11 crisis. So those of you who are students would not really remember this at all. You were either not here or you were really, really young. But I know a lot of our older parishioners would remember it well. And I bring it up because we got through that crisis, even though it was a different kind of crisis. This one, we have an invisible enemy. This one, it's hard to know how long the challenges we will have to face. But we've gotten through other crises in certain ways, and I think we can learn from that and get through this crisis that we're in right now. Two things that I saw happen from the September 11th crisis. One was the first responders. There were heroic sacrifices made by key people that rescued people and inspired people. But then two, there was just a massive turning to church and to God after 9/11. In fact, that lasted for years. There was a recognition, I think, in people's lives that where we thought we were safe and secure, where we thought that no enemy could actually affect us, it did affect us. And I think those buildings dropping in New York City and other difficult things happening really shook people. Things that they thought were so safe and so secure weren't as safe and secure. And so we find ourselves in a similar situation right now where we have kind of an invisible enemy. The scope is much bigger. It could affect any of us, and even to the point of potential death. And there's nothing more scary than our health being at risk to that extent. And so what do we do? I think we can do what we did in the post-9/11 crisis. Is the church has a great wisdom of balancing faith and reason. And so what I want to encourage us is first reason, to listen to our church leaders, to listen to our government leaders, to listen to our medical leaders. They have good wisdom for us to really take to heart the things they say and to do those things. But then there's the faith side, not just the reason side, not just the science and the medical side. There's the faith side. And what healed our country spiritually and in our souls after 9/11 was the turning back to the church, turning back to God, coming together and being able to actually forgive our enemies and move on, which is only possible through the grace of the Lord. So the passage I want to actually leave with us is Matthew 28, where Jesus says, I will be with you always. And this is something now that we can't be together. We can't be together in church. We can't be together in circles that we usually find a lot of support from. What can we turn to? Is that the Lord is always with us. And as Catholics, we tend to not recognize that reality. We tend to, especially those of us who grew up really, really active in the church, we tend to think of the Lord mostly in church settings. You know, at Mass, the Lord is there, or at adoration, the Lord is there, or certain prayer times during the day, the Lord is there. But in fact, his promise to us through our baptism is he is always with us. And so that's our hope right now, is while our best friends or family might not be able to be with us, why our key spiritual leaders might not be able to be with us, our community might not be able to be together, the Lord is with us every moment of every day. And so you are never alone. And the last thing I'd like to say, there's nothing more scary than to be in a state of fear and being alone. And since the Lord is with us every moment of every day, there really is nothing to be fearful about. And so just to go back to those soldiers in John 7, there was something about the way they met the Lord there that changed their perspective and caused them they saw something in him that was powerful. And that's my challenge for us. Can we become aware of how the Lord is with us every moment in our life that actually affects the other people around us, that they wonder why we aren't afraid, we aren't fearful, we do have peace, we still have joy, we still have hope, and that the Lord actually present in us, like the way he affected those soldiers, would affect the people around us to ask the question, why aren't you afraid? Why could you have joy in this season? Why do you have hope? And so I just pray that that promise that the Lord is always with us will become much more profoundly a part of our life in these days. Amen.